Wildcat basketball is on the air from St. Paul and St. Catherine University in its friendly confines of the Butler Center. Matt Nelson alongside of hardworking engineer Glenn Thompson. Tom Witchin's in the house as well today. And we welcome you into St. Paul, where tonight the Wildcats from St. Catherine University host Hamline University and their Pipers. The Pipers come into tonight's ball game 11-10, 6-8 in the MIAC. The Wildcats 9-12 overall, but a matching 6-8 mark through 14 games of MIAC play. So what does that mean big picture? Both of these teams right now are on the outside looking in of the MIAC's postseason. And the winner of this game will still have a clear path towards the MIAC postseason, especially with St. Kate's having a game remaining against St. Mary's. That's next week in Winona. The loser of this game will have a much more difficult path. It will not be eliminated, but the path to the postseason would require some help from other teams and probably winning out the rest of their MIAC schedule. Two evenly matched teams playing for the first time in 2018-2019, and it's coming up now. Let's hear from head coach Don Mulhern.
As always on our Wildcat pregame show, tonight on a Wednesday night in St. Paul, we step into the coach's office to catch up with Don Mulhern. And Coach, we always look backwards before we talk about tonight's matchup. Saturday against Bethel. Deja vu. That game looked a lot like the one in Arden Hills earlier this year. Team hung around in there, kept it close, and then just too much Bethel firepower in the second half.
It was a lot the same, and the final score I don't think is indicative of the outcome. On the other hand, you got to finish a game, but we competed very well. I was pleased with that. It's a lot of detail, a lot of that random play here that we don't get, the loose ball there, that defensive rebound that goes through our hands into theirs where they put back, and those are the things we've got to get better at. On the other hand, competing, playing hard, and doing things fundamentally in terms of our game plan, I thought we did pretty well. And Bethel's a very good team, and overall, there's some positives from that.
Yeah, I'm sure the disciplined coach you are, you left out a whistle here, a no whistle there. That was a part of the game as well in the first half, but leave that for us upstairs, and I'll leave you off the hook on that one. Story for another day, off the air maybe. I thought it was the first game where it looked like your bench tightened up a little bit in that game, that they didn't come in with that big scoring punch or defensive big play. Outside of Benjamin, it just didn't seem like the bench was quite there like it has been on this latest run of good ball.
Well, let's give Bethel a lot of credit. Bethel really, really plays intense defense. And when you come in off the bench in a game like Bethel, that's not just a MIAC game. That's one of the best teams in the MIAC and around the whole area. And you've really got to be coming off the bench, physically prepared, but also sort of what I call mentally prepared. And, they get in your face, they get in your grill, and if you're not quite ready, they're going to get a steal, they're going to tip, they're going to block shot. And those are things that they did well, and I think that Bethel had a lot to do with, their ability to kind of make us uncomfortable.
You're right, and it's a lesson to not get distracted by the box score, because you see those big offensive scoring totals and you can forget it's a team that does play great defense as well. Hamline tonight, you hate to use the term must win, but looking ahead, the team that comes out with a win tonight is going to have an awful lot more breathing room than the other one. This is a big game, Coach.
Well, I would say to you, yes, it is a big game, but you have to keep a perspective too, is that it's one of many games, and we play Hamline once during the year. This is the first time we played them because of the conference where you don't play everybody twice. And, obviously, for them coming in here, it's a big game too. So I think you're going to see both teams really locked in. And, it should be a fun atmosphere. And I think both teams are pretty evenly matched. I think each team's have some different strengths. They're very well coached. They shoot the ball extremely well, especially from the three. We've got to be just absolutely on our best game tonight of contesting threes and not giving up those open looks, because they can just light it up. And that's a big part of tonight's game plan to be successful.
I'm curious, just thinking about Hamline's last game out and your preparation and your coach's preparation and scouting an opponent, whether they were on the receiving end or on the other end of a blowout. They got blown out by St. Thomas in their last game. If they would have blown somebody out by 40 or gotten blown out by 40, does it make it harder to scout a team? That's something I've always wondered.
Well, I guess the answer is that when we scout, we never look at one game. I think that it's just a little bit foolish to look at one game. You have to look at a variety of games. And basically what you have to do as a statistician to me is you have to look at a big enough sample size of performance. That's the bottom line. And every team has teams they play well against and teams they don't play well against. Now, I want to be fair. Pretty much everybody struggles against St. Thomas, and that's just a compliment to St. Thomas. I guess, but my point is that we look at a bunch of games, a bunch of different situations, and you try to figure out over the long haul how teams do in their tendencies. So it's not just one game.
You know, one thing I wanted to ask you last week, I didn't have a chance to get around to it, but we've got the time for it in today's pregame show. You got Orth, you got Benjamin, you got two really good post players there. Do you like having them out on the floor at the same time? We've seen a little bit of it the last couple of weeks, or would you rather have each one of them spelling the other?
At the beginning of the year, I guess that's maybe more of a thing you think about because by definition at the beginning of the year, you know, the freshmen, it's simply more new to them.
Sure.
You know, at this point in the season, nobody's really a freshman anymore if they've played significant minutes, and those young ladies have. So at this point in the season, that in and of itself isn't as big a deal because you expect that they both are going to not be overwhelmed with the situation. It then comes down to who's in foul trouble, you know, the situation, matchups, and all those sorts of things. So I guess that part of the equation at this point in the year is not as big a deal as it is at the beginning of the year.
I'm looking forward to tonight's game, Coach. I think it'll be a good one. Best of luck tonight with the Pipers.
Well, thank you, and hopefully we can give you a good one to broadcast.
At this time, we ask that you please rise, please remove your caps, and please face the flag, as Jillian Volt will lead us in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose dark stars sang like stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's white flare, albums bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice. We'll keep it downstairs with public address for the starting lineups for the Pipers and the Wildcats.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starting lineups for tonight's game, alternating in numerical order, beginning with the Pipers. For the Pipers, a junior guard from North Branch, Minnesota, number 5, Morgan Coleman. For the Wildcats, a freshman guard from Cottage Grove, Minnesota, number 14, Taylor Johnson. For the Pipers, a freshman guard from St. Paul, Minnesota, number 10, Chanel Anderson Manning. For the Wildcats, a freshman forward from Maple Grove, Minnesota, number 23, Sam Orth. For the Pipers, a junior guard from Coppell, Texas, number 12, Kaylee Stayer. For the Wildcats, a junior guard from Minneapolis, Minnesota, number 11, Donica Cambries. For the Pipers, a junior forward from Bloomington, Minnesota, number 25, Ellie Sartain. For the Wildcats, junior guard from St. Paul, Minnesota, number 15, Jackie Radford. For the Pipers, junior forward from St. James, Minnesota, number 35, Riley Gustfeld. And for the Wildcats, senior guard from Kenyon, Minnesota, number 13, Audra Clark. The balance of the Pipers and the balance of the Wildcats.
All right, thank you downstairs. That's your starting lineups for the Hamline Pipers and the St. Kate's Wildcats. Once more, the Pipers come into today's game 11-10 on the season, 6-8 in the MIAC, matching the Wildcats' mark of 6-8 through 14 games. Both of these teams right now on the outside looking into the MIAC's final playoff spot. Right now, that record is 8-6, and it's a two-way tie for what amounts to the final playoff spot. St. Ben's and St. Mary's right now hold on to that final 5th and 6th spot respectively, with the Pipers and St. Kate's right on their heels with 4 games to go. Again, the winner of this one has a very viable path to the postseason. The loser of today's game is going to have a much more difficult path into the MIAC's second season. Pipers start 3 guards and 2 forwards. The Wildcats start 4 guards and a forward. For the Pipers, Coleman, Anderson, Manning, Stayer, Sartain, and Geisfeld. For the Wildcats, Orth takes the tip, and Radford, Johnson, Clark, and Cambryce in the backcourt behind her. The tip is up, and we are underway in St. Paul. The Wildcats win that tip, and Johnson will set up shop on this first possession for St. Kate's. Cambryce for Radford on that left side. Takes a nice long look before turning it to the top of the key, and Orth. Now Clark down low. Orth, one dribble, kicks outside Johnson. Now Radford has it in the corner with 9 to shoot for St. Kate's on this opening possession. Clark going to work, goes to her left hand, around a screen. Now drives with that left hand, through a double team. Layup short, rebound Pipers, and they want to get out and run with the basketball. Geistfeld to the basket, and Geistfeld scores. Nice pass by Anderson Manning. Geistfeld averaging 16.5 points per game this season. A great rebounder as well, just over 8 boards per game, and she's now started all 22 this year for the Pipers as that pass was tipped in front of the Wildcats bench. Hustle play by Stayer, but the Wildcats will retain possession, trailing 2-0. Geistfeld, a junior out of St. James, Minnesota, really good player, 5'10", mentioned 16.5 points per game, and she's just been a reliable cog in that starting lineup for Alex Foki, who's coaching in his second season as Piper head coach. Clark to her right, kicks for Radford. 8 seconds left for the Wildcats to shoot. Cambryce at the free throw line, now the elbow. Clark outside, one dribble, three-pointer, too strong, loose ball, and a foul is going to be called. Orth came up with they're going to say shot clock violation. The 3 by Clark did not hit rim, so the shot clock did not reset. It's a shot clock violation, and it's Piper basketball here a minute and 12 seconds into the game. Tonight's broadcast is interactive. If you're watching and listening along, you can drop us a note, and we'll make sure to call it out on air. Let us know who you're rooting for, whether it's the Pipers or the Wildcats, and where it is you're watching from tonight. Anderson Manning bowls over Clark, and they're going to call an offensive foul. Anderson Manning, the freshman, the fans wanted a push-off when she got tangled up with Clark the first time. She reset, went to her left, walked all over Clark, and got called for the game's first foul. Anderson Manning is playing in her 20th game this season, starting her 18th. Good score as well, just under 10 points per game. That email address is wildcatsbooth@gmail.com, wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Let us know where you're listening from and who you're rooting for as Clark goes to the basket, scores, and draws the foul. Clark will head to the free throw line, a chance at a 3-point play. The foul is against Riley Geistfeld. It's her first, the second against the Hamline Pipers in the first quarter, and it sends a very good free throw shooter in Clark to the line, 74% on the season. And no surprise, she steps up and knocks it down. Wildcats lead by a point. Clark just under 15 points per game, great rebounder, more than 5 a game on the glass, and assisting 4.5 times a game as well. Pipers get it into the front court, and sneaking behind the defense was Sartain. Sartain is on the board, the 6-foot junior out of Bloomington. Puts the Pipers back on top, 4-3, your new score. And Radford's going to be called for the travel. Wildcats turn it over, and we've got our first subs of the evening. Sophie Findell comes in for the Pipers, as does Sarah Loken. Loken, 6'1" freshman out of Mounds View. She's played in every game this season for the Pipers off of that bench. So our first look at Findell and Loken for our second-year head coach Alex Foki. Stayer picked up by Cam Bryce, lost her dribble, able to get it back for Findell. Harassed by Clark, back for Stayer now, loses Cam Bryce, pulls up, mid-range jumper too strong, but an offensive rebound, Coleman, and a jump ball is going to be called as Clark tied her up. Jump ball, arrow belongs to, must be Hamline, so fresh shot clock off of the miss, and it's Hamline's basketball. Pass comes in quickly for Geisfeld against Clark. Geisfeld got her shot off. It's over the iron, and a weak side rebound is hauled in by Radford. Radford, the Wildcats' leading rebounder, more than 7 a game. Radford now kicks Cam Bryce. Jumper off. Fourth offensive rebound. Wildcats will get another crack at it. Radford backpedals, guarded by Loken. She'll call on a new set with 20 seconds on the Wildcat shot clock. Cam Bryce drives, pulls up. Jumper, that one's off of the backside of the iron. Rebound, Geisfeld. Better job on the glass off of that most recent miss by St. Kate's by Geisfeld. The leading rebounder for Hamline. Clark poked it away and comes up with the steal. Wildcats force the turnover. Findell gets her pocket picked by Clark. Now Radford spinning into the lane. Kicks outside. Finds Orth. Radford three-pointer, knocked it down. Big shot. Jackie Radford cuts into the Hamline lead. Now just a 1-point game, and the Wildcats force another turnover. Fosness pries it away from Geisfeld, and a jump ball's called, so the Wildcats leading by 2, 6-4 the new score. Not yet 4 minutes into the game. 6:08 left in the first quarter. Fosness is in. Johnson will come in for Cam Bryce. So the Wildcats will also send out Katie Benjamin for the first time. What a run Benjamin is on. Her last 3 games against St. Olaf, Concordia, and Bethel, 12, 17, and 12 points respectively in those 3 games. And the Wildcats will go to her. That three-pointer by Radford, she had been struggling with her jump shot as Clark got to the basket, laid it up and in. 5 first quarter points for Clark, and the Wildcats lead at 8-4. Radford, no doubt, had been struggling with her shot. She's seen her shooting percentage on the season all the way dipped down to 28%, but her first shot was that three-pointer, and sometimes when you make that first one, that confidence can build. Geisfeld three-pointer, offline, Wildcat ball. 5:27 left in the first quarter. Reminder, you can reach out to the booth up here, wildcatsbooth@gmail.com. Let us know where you're watching from tonight, whether it be on, whether you're rooting on the Pipers or the Wildcats. Smartphone, tablet. A lot of people watch on their smart TVs now. Lots of ways to stay in touch with the MIAC. Glenn and I don't have smart TVs, not smart enough. Can't afford it. Cam Bryce drove and got called. I think Hamline got called for the foul. They did. Geisfeld on the bump. Called for, they've got it up there as her first. I had her for one other. Nope, they'll say Findell called for her first. That makes more sense. Amaker, a three-pointer. That's off. Hamline ball. Pass into the front court was deflected, but somehow Robinson was able to chase it down, but Robinson's shot was blocked by Benjamin. Now Cam Bryce into the front court. Cam Bryce drives baseline, pulls it up. Her shot's off. Slow start for Cam Bryce shooting the ball. Benjamin offensive rebound. That shot's no good. Geisfeld the rebound. Boy, Geisfeld's a big-time player for Hamline. Slow start for Cam Bryce. She's missed her first 4 tries. Offensively, Geisfeld three-pointer. That shot was blocked. Good start defensively for Benjamin. A couple of blocked shots. 4:38 left in the first quarter. Hamline back into the bench. Coleman re-enters. And then Don Mulhern's going to send in Radford for Kerchek. So just a short appearance on the floor for Kerchek. Bradford in. Oh, getting free of her defender and drawing the foul was Loken. Sarah Loken will go to the free throw line for a couple of free throws. The foul against Johnson is the first foul against St. Kate's through these first 5.5 minutes of basketball. If you're just joining us, we welcome you in to the Butler Center in St. Paul. Loken not billed as a great free throw shooter, 48% on the season, but her first was a beauty. And she steps right up and makes them both. Nicely done by the freshman. .436 left now in the first quarter. An 8-6 score. Not a high-scoring first quarter. Both teams have struggled shooting the basketball. Down low, Cambryce one-on-one. Turns, shoots, and got the roll. Cambryce is on the board for the first time. The junior averaging 15.5 per game to go along with 5.5 boards. Shooting 45% from the floor on the season. Very healthy average for Cambryce. She was due to get one of those rolls. Coleman, one dribble. Now Findell into the corner for Robinson. Up top with it, Loken drives, had it poked away. Cambryce, loose ball. Pipers come up with it, Coleman. Now Robinson outside for Findell. Hands it off for Anderson Manning. She gets something up as the shot clock expires. Loose ball, tipped out of bounds. And let's see. The officials are going to get together. Radford was chasing it down for the Wildcats. Don Mullern has his hands in the air, so I'm guessing that means Piper ball. Let's see. Nope. They're going to say Wildcat ball. So last touch by Hamline. 3:40 to go in the first quarter. Wildcats 10, Hamline 6 in this low-scoring first quarter. This game's so critical for both teams' playoff prospects. With 4 games to go in the MIAC schedule, including this one. Wildcats just one remaining home game after today's. That's the season finale against McAllister. Clark. Down low, Benjamin. Oh, she had it stolen away from behind. Coleman. Great defensive play, but Clark steals it right back. We're going the other way. Clark, the steal, the score, and the foul. Coleman called for her first foul. Clark with 7 first quarter points and a chance at her second three-point play of the first period. So Andra back to the free throw line where she's already 1 for 1 and shoots 74% on the season. Findell to the bench for the Pipers. Stayer back in. And Clark misfires, but does get 2 points on the trip down the floor. Wildcats score off of the Hamline turnover. Anderson Manning now will set up the offense. Pipers down by 6 early. Thinking about a three-pointer was Coleman. Now she crosses over Radford. A little floater off of the back end of the iron. Rebound. Clark tried to get an outlet pass to Cambryce. Did get it there, although Stayer got a hand on it. Cambryce kicks for Benjamin. Benjamin drives through a double team. Layup short. Clark rebounds, spins, left-hander. That's short. And the Pipers come down to the board. Coleman. Either team having a great first quarter shooting the basketball. Anderson Manning in transition, threw it away. A turnover and a stomp of the foot from Alex Foki. He knew his team had a good chance to score off of that Wildcat turnover. Instead, just paid the favor right back. We've got a timeout on the floor. Let's take our first timeout of the evening. You're listening to Wildcat basketball. Right now, St. Kate's on top 12-6.
As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that. By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities.
Welcome you back into the Butler Center. Good start for St. Kate's, and Orth down low scores for the first time. Sam Orth averaging 10.5 points per game. She has her first layup, goes along with 6 rebounds per game. She started all 22 this year for St. Kate's. Off of the miss, an offensive rebound and a putback, put up and in. Coming in off of that bench, it's Ryan Lee, junior out of Paynesville, Minnesota, out there in central Minnesota. Down low, Cambryce. Pump fake, Radford got it to Donica. One dribble, steps back. Tried to get across court, but it was picked off by Kaylee Stayer. The junior out of the Lone Star State comes up with the turnover. 90 seconds to go in the first quarter. Anderson Manning into the corner. Stayer, three-pointer off of the back side of the iron. Loose ball, tipped out of bounds by Cambryce. It'll stay on this side with Hamline. She got all tangled up with Lee and Anderson Manning. Hope you're enjoying your week on this Wednesday night. Geisfeld back in off the Piper bench after her quick breather. She's really their workhorse, scoring the basketball, doing the dirty work on the glass. Alex Folke has a good one in the junior, Geisfeld. And now she drew the foul, I believe. This one away from the basketball against St. Kate's. It's on Orth, her first. The second foul against St. Kate's through these first 9 minutes. And Orth will take a spot on the bench. Benjamin will come in. And Isaacson will come in for Johnson as well for Don Mulhern. Fresh shot clock for Hamline. Trailing by 6 to St. Kate's. Pass comes in. Anderson Manning found Robinson. She couldn't finish it off. Offensive board, Lee. That's no good. Lee got it back, and foul is going to be called against St. Kate's as Lee came up with the loose ball, and Hamline doing a nice job on the offensive glass. The foul is against, let's see, it's the third foul against St. Kate's, and the foul's against Isaacson. First for Isaacson. So now with 53 seconds left in the first quarter, Hamline gets a fresh shot clock. 3 fouls against St. Kate's, 4 against the Pipers. And a foul this time called away from the basketball again. And it's on the same culprit, Isaacson. Called for her second. 4 fouls against both teams. Now we'll march it over to the right side of the basket and try to trigger this thing back in. Moore gets it in. And we're back to play. Lee, wide open 3, didn't want anything to do with it. Geisfeld to the left side. Now Moore. They'll go down low for Geisfeld. She's double teamed, but got past Benjamin. Radford was there to close it out. She thought she had the shot blocked clean, but the foul's going to be called against Radford. Geisfeld to the free throw line for the first time. 5th foul against St. Kate's. That means Hamline gets to play in the bonus for the next 39 seconds of game clock. 2 shots upcoming for Geisfeld, who misses her first. Geisfeld, really good free throw shooter, 71%. As Johnson comes in off of the Wildcat bench. 1 more to come for Geisfeld, trying to cut into the Wildcat lead. Her second is good. Good free throw shooter, 71% as I mentioned. Junior has put up big numbers in her career at Hamline, and the Wildcats turned it over. Johnson thought Cambryce was going to come down and slam the brakes. She kept running, and the ball wound up in the bleachers. So 32 seconds to go. 30 on the shot clock, 32 on the game clock. So the Pipers can hold it for what could amount to the last possession of the first quarter if they feel so inclined. Robinson Tried to get it in for Geisfeld. She was well covered. Now it's back for Robinson. She spun past Clark. Benjamin's there waiting for her and is going to get called for the foul. Benjamin knew it, and the freshman out of Walker called for her first foul. Pipers back to the free throw line. This time it's Gabby Robinson, another good free throw shooter. As a team, the Pipers 65% from the free throw line. Wildcats at 64%. So these two pretty even in that category as that one spins around the old fishbowl and goes down for Robinson. She's 71% for the season. Robinson played in all 22 this year for the Pipers. Has actually started 5 games, and this time she goes 1 of 2 from the free throw line. 9 seconds for the Wildcats to work with, holding on to a 4-point lead. Cambrai slicing through the defense. Layup is up and in. Cambrai has 4 in the first quarter, and we've played 10 from St. Paul. Let's break with the players. Through the first period, St. Kate 16, Hamline 10, and you're listening to Wildcat Basketball on tjsportsonline.net. And let's hear from our sponsors. You're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines Incorporated, dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit their website at northfieldlines.com. Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians for St. Catherine's University as well as Augsburg University, Hamline University, and others around the state of Minnesota. Visit tcomn.com and thank you to Twin Cities Orthopedics. For exceptional service and selection, look no further than Fury Motors in St. Paul. They're the #1 family-owned dealer to buy a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram since all the way back in 1963. So much to choose from, and they make the shopping process easy. Also offering genuine service and financing. Visit stpaul.furymotors.com for more information.
Back to work in the second quarter. Matt Nelson alongside of hardworking engineer Glenn Thompson. Thank you to Glenn for his efforts making tonight's broadcast possible and so enjoyable for yours truly. Geisfeld, three-pointer, knocked it down. Nicely done. Geisfeld, good shooter for a post player. Cuts the Wildcat lead to just 3. 5 points in the first half for Geisfeld. Clark, one dribble now. Cambrai wanted to get it down low to Benjamin. She was well defended by Geisfeld. Cambrai steps back. 10 seconds for the Cats to work with. Now Benjamin has it. Double team, shot blocked and deflected out of bounds. Wildcats will keep it with 6 seconds to shoot. The one thing the Wildcats have really missed this season is somebody who can step out and make a three-point shot. Their best bets in that category have been Amaker, Isaacson, and Johnson, but they've really done most of their damage this season inside of the arc. As a team, the Wildcats, to testify to that effect, 26% shooting the three. Hamline hasn't been much better, 28%. So neither one of these teams do a great job shooting the three. 5 seconds to work with. Radford brings it in to the long arms of Cambrai, and she gets fouled. Coleman called for her second foul, first against Hamline in the fourth quarter, and the Wildcats get another 25 seconds tabbed onto their shot clock. Fresh shot clock for St. Kate's, and they'll keep the ball. Stay tuned at halftime. Our Wildcat player profiles for you. We're going to hear from Jackie Radford and Emma Nelson, two of the leaders on this team, on and off the court. Radford and Nelson at halftime as Benjamin booted it, and the Wildcats turn it over. Great conversations with Radford and Emma Nelson as well. Wildcats still very much alive in this playoff picture. Those last two spots right now sit at 8 and 6. And we can check the out-of-town scoreboard here momentarily. It's time. That's that time of year to do a little bit of scoreboard watching. So both of these teams 2 wins behind St. Mary's and St. Ben's. St. Ben's is in overtime against Concordia. Ooh, Wildcat fans, Hamline fans, keep your eyes on that game up in Moorhead. 2 minutes to go in overtime. Cobbers by 2 points right now. That would squarely put both of these teams into consideration for that last spot. That one's poked away. The Pipers turn it over. Johnson has it and will take the Wildcats the other way. Up by just 3. Feels like the Wildcats have played better than Hamline to this point, but they lead just by 3, now 5. Cambrai slams on the brakes and knocks down the jumper. 6 points for Cambrai, so keep your eyes open. Concordia leading by 2 in overtime up in Moorhead. Crossover. Stayer wanted nothing to do with Benjamin. Geisfeld. Anderson Manning. Out down low, another steal for the St. Kate's. Clark tips it to Radford, and the Wildcats want to get out and run. In transition, Johnson open 3. Nice shot! Johnson knocks down the 3-pointer. The Wildcats go up by 8, and Alex Folke takes a timeout. St. Kate's 21, Hamline 13. Just over 2 minutes into the second quarter, you're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
Electric Company is your full-service electrical contractor, one of the Upper Midwest's largest. From building and process automation, communications, construction services, energy savings, testing, and maintenance. Founded in 1922 by William F. Lindbergh and located in St. Paul, find out more information on Peoples Electric Company at www.peoplesco.com.
A game with big implications for both of these teams. 42 seconds left in overtime up in Moorhead. St. Ben's just regained the lead, 89-88 against the Cobbers. They have a 2-win advantage in the win column over both St. Kate's and Hamline. So both of the teams on the court right now would be really pulling for the Cobbers to find a way to win that game at home. Stayer 3-pointer, way offline. Rebound tipped into the hands of Johnson. So if you're a Piper fan and you're a Wildcat fan, tonight you are big-time Concordia Cobber fans. Kerchak drives and draws the foul. Loken going to be called for the foul, I believe. It is a bump against Sarah Loken, her first foul. And the second against Hamline here with 7:24 left in the second quarter. Clark for Orth. One dribble. Johnson. As soon as the final comes in on that game up in Moorhead, we'll make sure to share it with you, the listener. Clark spins, shoots, scores. Audra Clark special. 9 points in the first half for Clark. It's a 10-point Wildcat lead. The Pipers have been held to just 13 through 13 minutes of basketball. Geisfeld in the corner. Stayer drives. Her shot was blocked by Orth. Stayer's having a tough time with the 2 posts for St. Kate's. Will play on as that one somehow got poked away. 1 second for the Pipers to shoot. Long 3-pointer rattled in and out for Anderson Manning. That one almost went in. 6:24 left in the second quarter. With our eyes fixed on the Red River Valley and what's going on in that game. Kerchak 3-pointer. Way offline. Rebound Stayer. Into the front court. Clark picked it off. Went flying into the bleachers. And couldn't come up with it. It'll be Piper ball, but great effort by Clark. Piper ball, Radford in, Cambrai out. Check our latest update for you in that Concordia St. Ben's game. 8 seconds to go. St. Ben's right now leading 90-88. That would be so close. That old saying about horseshoes and hand grenades, but we'll see if Concordia can find a way in that game. Would be huge for Hamline and for St. Kate's and their path to the postseason. All tipped outside. Findell Anderson Manning sheet traveled. Hamline turns it over. St. Mary's has got their hand full tonight too. They're the other one sitting at 8-6. And they're in Arden Hills playing Bethel. No scoring from that game yet. But that's another tall task. So you could have both of the teams ahead of these two drop one tonight. And the winner here obviously would pick one up. It'd be a two-game swing. Burchek pump fake. Now Radford has it. 10 seconds for the Wildcats to work with. Geisfeld, tenacious defensive player. Orth. Now Fosness. Got to get something up. Fosness, air ball. Hamline comes up with it. Piper ball. Not a great half shooting for either team, and the Pipers just traveled yet again. Another Piper turnover, and it's St. Kate's ball. Sixth turnover for Hamline. Wildcats have turned it over 5 times. Radford in the lane. And they're going to call a block against Hamline. So 2 shots coming up for Jackie. The foul against Loken is their second. Radford, 59% free throw shooter, heads to the line. Oh, wow. Up in Moorhead with 3 seconds to go. The Cobbers just took a 1-point lead, 91-90, the new score with 3 seconds to go. And that's big time for both of these teams with 4 games left in the MIAC schedule. Radford, nice trip to the free throw line, knocks them both down. 5 first half points for Radford. So that means the Cobbers either got a 3-point play or knocked down a 3-pointer, one or the other. 3 seconds left in overtime. So they're trying to get that thing into the clubhouse. And what a pick-me-up that would be for both of these teams. Venegas in for the first time for St. Kate's. She defends Findell. Lee, a couple of dribbles, picks it up. Now Geisfeld against Radford. Drives, spins, shoots off of the elbow. Oh, good. Rebound, Orth. So that game between Concordia and St. Ben's, huge ramifications. Oh, goodness. St. Ben's won. 92-91 the final. That's a bummer for Piper and Wildcat fans. So that game had 2 lead changes in the last 5 seconds of the game. Nice drive and a score. Amaker. That's like game of the year material in the MIAC. 92-91 the final as St. Ben's gets their 9th win of the 2018-2019 MIAC season. That is a big win for the Bennies on the road. Wow. Foul called against Kerchek. With 3:48 left, that's the first foul against St. Kate's here in the 4th quarter. Wow. That game, 2 lead changes in the last 5 seconds. Concordia was down 90-88, went ahead 91-90, and with 3 seconds left, somehow the Bennies found a way to win 92-91. So they now improved to 9-6. And Cambryce is going to get called for her first foul as she bumped in and drew the whistle. Well, that's got to be like game of the year stuff, right? Up there. That is a bummer for St. Kate's and Hamline fans, though, to get that close to being able to do a 2-game swing in one Wednesday night. Venegas called for her first foul. Wildcats are racking up some fouls here. 3 minutes and 33 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Wildcats just picked up their 3rd foul. Venegas out, Benjamin in. So with that, you turn your attention to Arden Hills and Bethel hosting St. Mary's and see what happens there. Geisfeld, a pick and roll action. Now 3-pointer. That's off for Anderson Manning. Offensive board, Ryan Lee. Hamline gets another crack at it. Moore picks up her dribble. Geisfeld drives, and gets fouled. 2 shots coming up for Geistfeld. Radford's second foul will send Geistfeld to the free throw line. First shot's off for Geistfeld. Second one coming up with the Wildcats up 27-13. And Geistfeld comes up empty-handed. Last update we had was a ways back, but Bethel was up early, 14-6 against St. Mary's. We'll keep you up to date on that game as these two teams try to chase down St. Ben's and St. Mary's. Down low, nice pass. Benjamin had her shot blocked, and it's Hamline ball. You know, the latest update, they've got 1:50 to go in the second half over in Arden Hills. Bethel's up by 5, 39-34 over there. 2:39 left here in the first half, and a foul against Benjamin and a chance at a three-point play for Geistfeld, who now has 8 points and heads back to the free throw line for the second time in as many possessions. Benjamin called for her second foul. Huge missed opportunity, though, with Concordia leading with 3 seconds to go over St. Ben's in overtime. Three-point play for Geistfeld. She's got 9. Little full court press put on. Man-to-man press. Cam Bryce into the front court with it. Isaacson heads to her right. Back up top for Clark. Worth noting as Cam Bryce went diving in for the loose ball, and I think they're going to call Manning for trying to dive over Cam Bryce. No, they're going to call the foul against Donica, her second. So Orth will come into the game. Cam Bryce will head to the bench with the 2 fouls. I'd imagine leading by 9, 2:16 to go, you'd probably try to hide her for the rest of the first half if you're Don Mulhern. The Pipers turn it over. Ball thrown away by Hamline. Wildcats get it back with 2:12 to go. The remaining schedule this year for St. Kate's. After today, 2 road games next week. Well, I should say Saturday and Wednesday, Gustavus and St. Mary's. And a week from Saturday, they'll close out the season at home against McAllister. Realistically, out of these 4 games, including today, St. Kate's has probably got to win 3 of them. 27-16 the score. So obviously your margin of error is pretty narrow right now if you're St. Kate's. Got to find a way to hold on against Hamline, and if you're Hamline, they have to play with great urgency as well because they know just how difficult it would be from 6 and 9 to make the playoffs. Bradford baseline drive through contact, couldn't get the shot to go, and Geistfeld will chase down the rebound. Boy, lots of contact over there, no call. Lee, double team, kicks outside. Anderson Manning, 3-pointer, air ball into the waiting arms of Sam Orth, who traveled. And let's see, Don Mulhern thought he had called a timeout before Orth took that last step. And the officials will get together. He knew that Orth would be frozen in that backcourt. I think Don Mulhern tried to squeeze in a timeout. And they're going to say he didn't get the timeout. So that means it's going to be Hamline ball. So Piper ball, down by 11 with 69 seconds to go in the first half. Kurchek will come in for Orth. neither team has had a great first half offensively. I mean, honestly, shooting the ball, turnovers. I'm sure both coaches not 100% pleased with the offensive production of their team. Geistfeld, though, has been a bright spot for Hamline. Her three-pointer, though, short. Kerchak on the rebound. Kerchak, Radford. Got it to Clark. Benjamin floating pass. And Benjamin can't come up with it. Turnover for St. Kate's, another one. Let's check the turnover board. 8 for St. Kate's, 8 for Hamline. Stayer to the rack, way off. Rebound, Lee. Got bumped, got tied up, and a foul's going to be called against Kerchak as she went diving in to tie up that loose ball. Thought she had a chance at a jump ball, but instead Kerchak called for her second foul. 5th against St. Kate's with 41 seconds left in the second quarter. And Ryan Lee will head to the free throw line. So 2 shots for Lee. That one clanks off of the backside. Shooting free throws, Hamline now 5 of 10. That's well below their season average of 65%. The Wildcats have only been there for 4 shots. They made 3 of them. Wildcats shoot 42% so far in the first half. Hamline just 20. Lee makes good on her second. She goes 1 of 2, has 3 points in the first half. And the Wildcats get the ball with 36 seconds left in the first half, 24 seconds on their shot clock. Clark surveys, tried to get it to Benjamin. Now she'll take it herself into a triple team and get fouled. Clark's going to go to the line for 2 free throws. 4th foul against Hamline in the second quarter sends Clark to the line. And the foul for the Pipers is against Stayer. The junior sends Clark to the free throw line. Audra with 9 first half points. And now she's in double digits. That leads all scorers in the game. Clark now less than 50 points away from becoming St. Kate's all-time leading scorer. And she goes 2 of 2. Talked to Lindsay from the athletic communications office downstairs. She said if Clark scores her average for all 4 games the rest of the way, she would break the all-time scoring record at St. Kate's. That record held by Lachey Holt, who broke Laura Cabfell's all-time scoring record. So all 3 of those players in the last decade of Wildcat ball. Clark poked it away. Radford came up with it. Nice pass. Found Clark. Drive to the basket and scores it off of the window. 13 first half points for Clark. And that's the final buzzer. Long, desperate heave for Hamline. And we've played 20 minutes in St. Paul. Behind a big first half from Audra Clark. She scores 13. The Wildcats lead at 31-17. They shoot 44% and hold Hamline to just 5 of 24 shooting the ball, 20%. And for Hamline, 9 of their 17 points came from Geistfeld. We're going to hear from Radford and Nelson. We got the dance team here as well, so we'll check that out. And when we come back, we'll do our Wildcat player profiles. But right now it's St. Kate's 31, Hamline 17, and a big game on a Wednesday night from St. Paul. Wildcat dance team in the house, thank you for that halftime entertainment. We have played 20 minutes of basketball from St. Paul. Wildcats on top big, 31-17 your halftime score. As promised, we've got 2 interviews coming up for you, our Wildcat player profiles, Jackie Radford and Emma Nelson. First up is Jackie. Guard out of St. Paul. This is Jackie Radford joining us for today's Wildcat player profile. Jackie, good to see you. Great to have a chance to get to know you a little bit better. Before we talk about this year, let's look in the rearview mirror backwards. How was it? Junior guard out of Byron, Minnesota, Emma Nelson joins me. It's our Wildcat player profile. Emma, thanks for taking some time for joining us to catch up. We want to get to know more about you. You're a 2-sport star here at St. Kate's, volleyball and basketball. When did you get into both of those sports?
Basketball I probably started when I was about in 5th grade with traveling basketball. Coached by some of my friends' dads and just went around the area for different tournaments. Volleyball I probably took up around 6th grade with like our junior or our JO program. So more traveling, fell in love with both of them ever since, I guess.
It's hard to say. We're airing this during a basketball game. Do you have a favorite? I mean, or one that you feel, is there one that you feel like you're more naturally gifted in and one that you feel like, I got to work a little extra hard on this sport? Where does that fall for you?
I love them both equally. Probably it's more of whichever season I'm in. I probably go, like, if it's preseason for volleyball, I'm obviously going to work harder on my game for that, but naturally I'd say I'm probably more gifted in the volleyball aspect. Basketball is definitely the sport that I work harder and train harder for. Volleyball, I think I just have more natural skill with that.
All right, now stop me if I'm wrong, because I make about 30 mistakes a day, and I've only used 15 of them so far. But did I hear you were a captain on both teams, volleyball and basketball?
Yeah, basketball I know I have the official title of it. Volleyball we kind of go senior leadership roles, I think we more address it as, but basically just leadership, yeah.
What leadership opportunities here at St. Kate's? Now that, whether it's playing a sport or taking it into the professional sphere, what does that mean to you? What is it about your personality you think that endangers itself into being that leader?
I think just being personable with people, being able to communicate is a big part of a leadership role, as well as being able to have tough conversations, whether it's on the court or if it's a personal experience that you're going through, being able to talk through that with people is a big part of leadership. Taking responsibility for yourself as well as others. If they make a mistake that maybe you're in charge of them, you have to be able to take that responsibility head on.
Do you feel like you've stepped into that role all throughout? You always find yourself in that role in high school, now here playing collegiate volleyball and basketball?
Yes and no. When I was younger, obviously in high school, and then my first 2 years here at St. Kate's, I had leadership roles to look up to, and they kind of took care of me in that area.
Who were some of those people, those players that kind of mentored you?
So I can just think of my college experience. Mari Lee from the basketball team, as well as Kennedy Jennings, Lachey Holt, and Alexis Garcia were my seniors my freshman year, and then my 2 older cousins, Meg and Audra Clark, have both led me for the basketball program, and then Emily Carmen and Mackenzie Pepper and Bailey Asa for the volleyball program. They've all offered me different personalities, and they've given me different advice in each aspect of my game as well as personal experience in college. So
some of them are still here, some of them have gone on and are actually coaching.
Yep.
So it's not surprising to hear that some of them were your mentors. What are some of your goals? What are you working on for the rest of this athletic season? What are you trying to improve on?
Yeah, improve obviously my game and on the court, but developing relationships with my teammates. I'm going to be here for another year with all of them, so getting to know them on a personal level is a big goal of mine, as well as make new connections with either my coaches, getting to know them more personally, and having them help me further my career for once I graduate, and then making new connections in the athletic department.
And we've gotten to know you a little bit better this afternoon as well. That's Emma Nelson, and this has been today's Wildcat Player Profile. You wound up playing here at St. Kate's college ball.
Well, I actually started at the University of St. Thomas.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, I don't know them. Didn't really like it there too much, just in terms of overall non-basketball related things. So I reached out to Coach P, who had recruited me out of high school, but who I didn't really pay a lot of attention to.
Let's hope he's not watching.
Yeah, let's hope he's not watching. It happened pretty fast. I loved meeting with him and Coach Care right away. Felt like I was a good fit here right at home. So yeah, I never really looked back after that.
It's awesome. Where do you see yourself fitting into this team? This year's version, every team takes on its own identity. I think this year's team has taken on an identity all its own. Where does Jackie Radford fit into that identity?
Well, I'd like to think, even though I'm not, you're not going to see me lighting up the box scores, I like playing defense, getting rebounds, being a hustle player, good teammate. Yeah.
Not true, by the way. You do fill up the box scores, just not always in the points category.
Right. That's
but thankfully, there's more than just points on those box scores. It's kind of doing some of that dirty work that results in wins. And, that's something I know that, well, I don't know, but I imagine that you take pretty seriously, that you know that for this team to win, you've got to go out there and you've got to be able to come up with that loose ball. You've got to be able to make that open three-point shot. Wherever it is that it fits in, you got to be able to do that in order for this team to get where it wants to go.
Yeah.
Affirmative head nod.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do my job every game, score when I need to score, and yeah, just make those plays that, puts us in a good position to win, which is really all that I want at the end of the day.
If I swung open that door over there and I brought in Jackie Radford, the freshman, and sat her next to Jackie Radford, the junior, how do you think you've developed as a person and as a player?
I would like to believe I got a lot more confidence in my game. I'm definitely more prepared, more comfortable here, more vocal as a leader. Hopefully I've improved. I would say that I have.
Up until this point, maybe your favorite moment is yet to come. But up until this point, what's been your favorite moment at St. Kate's?
That would have to be beating Augsburg last year to clinch our playoff spot.
Hard to beat a playoff clincher. I don't know if you watch much basketball, if you consider yourself a fan, whether it's the men's or women's side of the game, professional, college. Do you have a player that you just love to watch and you think, I'm gonna take something that player does and I'm gonna put it into my game. I'm gonna try to put it into my game.
Definitely all-time favorite player to watch would be Manu Ginobili from the Spurs.
Really?
Yeah. He's just a hard-working, grinding guy, athletic as heck. You wouldn't believe it by looking at him.
I can see that.
Which I don't really relate to, but sometimes I feel like I make
the master of taking
plays.
4 or 5 steps without getting called for traveling. That's what I most
Euro
admire.
step, reverse layups, being creative at the basket. I try to incorporate that, but...
Last one for you. For this year's team to get where it wants to go, it's got to do blank.
I would say the biggest thing is first years have to step up, play very big roles in certain situations. You never know what's going to happen. So everyone just got to come every day, do their job, and I think we'll do well.
That's Jackie Radford, junior guard on this year's basketball team, and this has been today's Wildcat Player Profile.
As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that.
By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities. Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines Incorporated, dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit their website at northfieldlines.com. Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians for St. Catherine's University as well as Augsburg University, Hamline University, and others around the state of Minnesota. Visit tcomn.com and thank you to Twin Cities Orthopedics. For exceptional service and selection, look no further than Fury Motors in St. Paul. They're the #1 family-owned dealer to buy a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram since all the way back in 1963. So much to choose from, and they make the shopping process easy. Also offering genuine service and financing. Visit stpaul.furymotors.com for more information. People's Electric Company is your full-service electrical contractor, one of the Upper Midwest's largest. From building and process automation, communications, construction services, energy savings, testing, and maintenance. Founded in 1922 by William F. Lindbergh and located in St. Paul, find out more information on People's Electric Company at www.peoplesco.com. Wildcat Athletics is proudly supported by the Ryan Company, the Hickey family, U.S. Bank, the Loeffler Companies, Cone U.S., and the Opus Group. Wildcat supporters this season also include Shapco Printing, Sodexo, Terra General Contractors, the O'Neill Group, ProTech Designs, and Floors by Becker. Other Wildcat sponsors include McGough Construction, the DLR Group, Push Pedal and Pull, the Newman Family, Sava Tree, Jimmy John's, and Munchie's Frozen Yogurt.
And with that, we welcome you back in for the second half in St. Paul. Underway with the Wildcats leading 31-17 over the Hamline Pipers. Game with huge postseason implications. Cam Bryce had a nice first half, especially the second quarter. 6 points. Clark carried the day for the Wildcats. Come back outside for Radford, who stops pivots. Now Cam Bryce picks up her dribble, got it to Orth. Clark drives with the left hand, got wiped out, no foul called, and instead it's a turnover for St. Kate's. Boy, standing in there and taking that contact was Sartain. Clark went flying, and Sartain, those 2 feet remained rooted on that hardwood floor. 31-17 the score. Pipers trying to cut into the Wildcat lead, and they'll do just that with the first bucket of the second half. It belongs to Kaylee Stayer. Stayer has 2 points in the game. That's her first bucket. And it cuts the Wildcat lead to 12. Wide open, Johnson. 3, knocked it down. Her second three-pointer of the game. Wildcats on the board in the second half. They lead 34-39. Lead back to 15. That's the biggest lead of the night for St. Kate's. Into the front court. Pipers will let loose on a three-pointer. Missed badly. Put back. Really uncontested. Morgan Coleman the rebound. And Coleman scores. 34-21 the new score. Radford drives and travels. Through a little bit of contact with Sartain. Radford shuffled her feet. And the Wildcats turn it over for the second time on 3 possessions in the second half. The exception, the three-pointer by Johnson. Anderson Manning, crossover dribble, drives. Outside with it, driving, shooting over Orth and scoring is Morgan Coleman. She has all 4 second half points for the Pipers. Long two, Cambryce, too strong. Rebound, Sartain. Pipers pushing the pace. Geisfeld guarded by Radford, drives into a double team, kicks outside. Coleman's been the hot hand, but her three-pointer was way off. It'll be Wildcat ball. Engineer for tonight's broadcast is Glenn Thompson. Big thanks to Jackie Radford and Emma Nelson for joining us. Not in that order, but joining us at halftime. Glenn Thompson over there trying to fall on the sword, but I'm not going to let him. Great to hear from Jackie and from Emma. Radford in the corner. Down low, wide open. Cambryce in the back door. Radford finds Cambryce. And Cambryce has 8 points. Nice pass by Jackie. 13-point lead for St. Kate's. Coleman. Oh, got by 2 defenders. Got by Radford. Got by Johnson. And scored. Coleman now with 6 points, all in the second half. In just 3 minutes of basketball. And you can see when Clark goes to the bench for a breather, Cambryce long two is off. Rebound for Sartain. You can see when Clark goes to the bench for a breather, right now your backcourt players are Venegas and Johnson. Offense just never looks quite as in rhythm as Stayer steps out, knocks down a three-pointer, and forces a Wildcat timeout. So a timeout on the floor as the Wildcats lead that was as big as 15 has been reduced to 8. 36-28 the score. And let's break with the Wildcats, with the Wildcats on top 36-28. 6:36 left in the third quarter.
As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that. By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities.
Just in the nick of time, back to St. Paul, Wildcats and Pipers. A little St. Paul rivalry going on here as Orth into the front court, playing out there with Benjamin, got bumped from behind, found Cambryce, and Cambryce is fouled. She's going to go to the line to shoot too. Alex Folke charging over and asking what the call was. He's got a good point. There was contact with Orth. She hit the deck and went sliding, so it's either a foul on Hamline or traveling on Orth. They called neither. She found Cambryce, who drew the foul, and will get 2 free throws. First shot good for Cambryce. 68% free throw shooter on the season is Cambryce. 9 points now in the ball game. She can join Clark in double digits with her next one. And she does that. Cambryce leading, Clark, I should say, leading all scorers with 13 points. Clark with 10 now. Cambryce with 10, pardon me. Coleman, Sartain, mid-range jumper. Oh, one dribble. Walked right on in there, took one dribble, pulled up and knocked it down. Sartain has 4 points. And the Wildcats turn it over. It's going the other way. Anderson Manning for Geisfeld. And a chance at a three-point play. Geisfeld scores. Draws the Wildcat foul against Johnson. Her second. And goes to the free throw line. Geisfeld now with 11 points goes to the line, and the Wildcat lead that was many as 15 in this third quarter is down to 6. Just a 2-bucket game. Geisfeld leaves one out there, though, misses the free throw. But the Pipers get 2 off of the turnover. Clark into the front court. Goes to her left, now finds Cam Bryce. Wanted to get it down low for Benjamin. Now Venegas drives, pulls up, goes outside. Cam Bryce, 13 seconds for the Wildcats to work with. Cam Bryce, little swim move, layup and scores. Scoop layup by Cam Bryce, who has a dozen. Cats by 8. Anderson Manning in transition. That layup short. Benjamin the rebound. And a game that wasn't pretty offensively in the first half has had much more scoring, and a backcourt foul is going to be called against Sartain. Anderson Manning was there as well, but I think the contact was initiated by Stayer. It was her second foul. Sartain to the bench. Ryan Lee back in for the first time in the second half. Johnson heads to the bench for the Wildcats, and Amaker comes in. And Amaker at her pocket picked. But it's going to be Wildcat ball. Robinson poked it away but couldn't chase it down. So St. Kate's ball. 5:09 left in the third quarter. Clark dribbling into traffic, down low. Benjamin made a nice move, couldn't finish the layup. And a foul's called against Benjamin, battling for that rebound off of the miss. Third foul against Benjamin. Second against St. Kate's here in the third quarter. Ryan Lee drives right at Benjamin. Goes back outside for Gabby Robinson. Now Geisfeld, three-pointer short. And 3 Wildcats there to haul in the rebound. Amaker is the one who comes up with it. Wildcats by 8. They've led by as many as 15 in this third quarter. Down low, Cam Bryce, strong drive to the basket. Through contact, she scores. Clark drops the dime to Cam Bryce, who now has 14. The lead for St. Kate's is back to double digits, 42-32. And now a foul called against Amaker away from the ball. I've got it as the first against the freshman Amaker, third against, no, they're going to say on Clark. So the first foul for the senior Clark, third foul against St. Kate's in the third quarter. Pass comes in, Coleman, and she's fouled. Coleman got bumped on the way down. That foul against Cam Bryce, her third. Wildcats piling them up, 4 fouls with still 4 minutes to go here in the third period. So Kerchek in, Amaker out. That is the third foul for Donica. Scoreboard says 2, so let me correct that. Second foul against Cam Bryce. Fourth, though, against St. Kate's in the third period. Isaacson in for Venegas. Hamline with the ball, down by 10. Driving to the basket is Robinson, and she's going to draw the foul. Fifth against St. Kate's in the third quarter is against Radford. And Don Mulhern wants a 30-second timeout. He'll get it, and when we come back, the Pipers will be at the free throw line, trailing by 10 with 3:48 to go in the third quarter.
As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, Check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction. A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that. By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities.
First shot is good for Robinson. Robinson averages 5 a game. She's now got 2 on the evening. And she goes 2 of 2 on that trip to the free throw line. Robinson with 3 points on the night, an 8-point lead for St. Kate's. 3:44 left in the third quarter. Isaacson in. Now Kurchek to her left hand. She'll drive. Oh, had a wide open layup. Instead kicked it outside to Audra Clark. Anderson Manning, the steal and the score. Manning averages 9 per game. That's her first score of the night. And it's a tight one suddenly again. Just a 6-point Wildcat lead. And now another turnover. Anderson Manning making her presence felt in the third quarter. And draws the foul against Clark. Manning heads to the free throw line where she shoots 60%. But Anderson Manning has come alive in this third quarter for Hamline. Creating turnovers, getting out on the break, scoring, doing a little bit of everything. So Anderson Manning to the stripe with the Pipers clawing their way closer and closer. Geistfeld in, Hamline's best player. This is just a 5-point game. The Wildcats led by 15 in this third quarter. Second shot for Anderson Manning. Makes them both. 4 points in the third quarter for Anderson Manning. Kurchek to the bench. And Johnson in. She's got the ball now. Crunch time for both of these teams. Johnson drives. High layup off of the window. No good. Hamline rebound. Boy, just down by 4. 42-38. Anderson Manning outside for Findell. Into the corner. Anderson Manning pump fake. Drives with that left hand. Geistfeld outside. Goes to work. Outside with it. Coleman. 9 seconds left to shoot. You got to think they're going to find Geistfeld. A little traffic jam as Geistfeld bumps into Robinson and the Pipers turn it over. Johnson comes up with a steal. Clark for Cam Bryce. 20 seconds on the clock for the Wildcats. Up by 4. 2:23 left in the third quarter. Isaacson down low. Cam Bryce in the post. Double team. Tried to find Jackie. Got it outside off of the tip. Johnson's third three-pointer of the evening. 9 points for Johnson, all coming on three-point shots. Gives the Wildcats a little breathing room. They lead 45-38 with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Good night of shooting for Johnson. Robinson to her left hand. Both teams have played much better offensively in the third quarter. Both teams have made adjustments. This is Coleman who came out hot in the third quarter, kicking into the corner. Shot blocked by Cam Bryce, and a shot clock violation for the Pipers. Great defense by St. Kate's. 90 seconds left in the third quarter. Great game for Johnson, who's got the ball now. Has nailed 3 three-pointers. Radford down low. Why not? One-on-one. Cam Bryce now double teamed. Layup no good. And a foul is going to be called against Isaacson as she went jumping in over the back trying to get the rebound. That'll mean free throws for the Pipers, who are playing in the bonus. Minute 14 left in the third quarter. 2 shots coming up for Hamline. The foul against Isaacson is their third. And Coleman to the line, 65% free throw shooter on this 2018-2019 season. First shot's good for Coleman. Interesting third quarter. Wildcats came out playing with great energy, had all the momentum, and the Pipers were able to plug that dam and make a nice little comeback, pulled this thing to within 4 points. Right now it's a 5-point game, but they came as close as 4. Coleman makes both. And at 12 to go in the third period. Cameras nearly lost it, did well to control her dribble. Radford, pump fake, steps back. Johnson, chased down by Moore. Hamline's not going to let Johnson sit back and shoot three-pointers anymore, I don't think. 8 seconds now. Clark, long three. Oh, big shot, Audra Clark. 16 points in the game for Clark. Wildcats lead is back out to 8. Clark from way outside of the arc. A beauty of a shot as the Wildcats have been on fire shooting the three in this third quarter, and they needed it to hold off Hamline, who came out playing much better basketball in the second half. Loken, 7 seconds on the Hamline shot clock. Robinson drives. Her layup no good. Loken the rebound. The putback's off, but she got fouled in the process. 13 seconds left in the third quarter. Loken's going to the free throw line, and the foul against Benjamin is her 4th. So probably going to see a lot more of Orth in the fourth quarter than Benjamin, depending on fouls. Loken has done her damage from the free throw line. Here comes Orth. Benjamin back to the bench. After this next shot by Loken, the Cats will have 13 seconds left in this third quarter. Loken has been perfect from the free throw line. She's got 4 points, 6-point game. 12 seconds for the Wildcats. Clark into the front court. Tried to go baseline, was denied. Turns it back outside. Radford steps into a three-pointer. Missed badly. Orth stepped out of bounds trying to keep it alive. And the Pipers will have a second and a half to give this one a heave. Down by 6. Wildcats don't want to foul. Ball comes in. Pipers aren't even going to get a shot up. They'll dribble us into the fourth quarter, so that's where we'll head through 30 minutes. It is St. Kate's 48, Hamline 42, and you're listening to Wildcat basketball. 10 minutes to go, still anybody's game, with the postseason hopes and dreams of both of these teams still very much alive.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines Incorporated, dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit their website at northfieldlines.com. Twin Cities Orthopedics offers a full spectrum of orthopedic care to individuals suffering sports-related problems and injuries. Their doctors are team physicians for St. Catherine's University as well as Augsburg University, Hamline University, and others around the state of Minnesota. Visit tcomn.com and thank you to Twin Cities Orthopedics. For exceptional service and selection, look no further than Fury Motors in St. Paul. They're the #1 family-owned dealer to buy a Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram since all the way back in 1963. So much to choose from, and they make the shopping process easy. Also offering genuine service and financing. Visit stpaul.furymotors.com for more information.
.48-42 the score as we go to the fourth quarter. Wildcats on top of the Pipers. Both teams need a win big time with 4 games left in their season. Both teams probably needing to win 3 of them, and a jump ball is going to be called. Geisfeld and Radford down low. Wildcats have the arrow, so that means it's Wildcat ball 15 seconds into the fourth quarter. Big credit to Don Mulhern and Alex Folke, these two head coaches. I thought they both made great adjustments coming out of the halftime break. Neither team played well offensively in the first half. Both have been much better in the second half. Wildcats behind some good three-point shooting from Johnson and Clark. Benjamin on the bench with 4 fouls. Orth had it. Now Cambryce for Johnson. 6 seconds. Driving. Got it for Orth. Drives baseline. Layup no good. Loose ball and a foul called. Let's see what they're going to call this on Geistfeld. Battling for the basketball. Yeah, Geistfeld. Just looked like she was in there trying to come up with that rebound, but the official on the baseline made that call. I don't think Alex Folke loved that call. Looked like both teams are just going for the board. 48-42 the score. Radford has it. Fresh shot clock now down to 20 seconds for St. Kate's. Orth steps out. Radford for Clark. Open for 3. That one off of the right side of the iron. Cambryce on the offensive board. Big one. Turns, shoots, and nailed it. 16 points for Cambryce. And an 8-point lead for St. Kate's. Anderson Manning. Pipers. Stayer. Now Loken. Down low. Geisfeld. Give and go. Loken to the rack. Off of the window. Went right through Clark and Radford and scored the first field goal for Loken, but she's got 6 points. 6-point game. Loose ball. Anderson Manning has it, and she gets fouled. So the foul against Radford now is her 4th. So now Benjamin and Radford playing with 4 fouls. First of the fourth quarter against St. Kate's. And Benjamin's going to come in with those 4 fouls. See if she comes in for Jackie. Yes, it is for Radford. So Don Mulhern will leave both of his post players, Orth and Benjamin, out there alongside of Cambryce, the hot hand shooting the 3, Johnson and Clark. This team has been so starved for anyone to make the 3-point shot that if you get hot from 3, you're going to get playing time, no doubt about that. Geistfeld lines up a 3-pointer. That would have been a big one for Hamline. It's too strong. Rebound Cambryce off of the back iron. Johnson has it. Now Cambryce for Orth. Benjamin steps out for it. 6 seconds for the Wildcats to find a shot. Little pick and roll. Clark finds Benjamin. First bucket for Benjamin, who's been so good in her last 3 games. I mentioned 12, 17, and 12 are scoring totals in those 3 games against St. Olaf, Concordia, and Bethel. She gets on the board for the first time on the nice pass from Clark. We got 7 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game clock. Wildcats by 8. Piper's still very much in this thing, though. They've shown the ability to come back before. Stayer being guarded nicely by Johnson. Cambryce deflects, and it'll stay with Hamline. They'll have 6 seconds to work with. And Alex Folke wants a 30-second timeout. Let's take one. 52-44 the score. It'll be Hamline ball when we come back. It's the fourth quarter from St. Paul, and you're listening to Wildcat Basketball.
Peoples Electric Company is your full-service electrical contractor, one of the Upper Midwest's largest. From building and process automation, communications, construction services, energy savings, testing, and maintenance. Founded in 1922 by William F. Lindbergh and located in St. Paul, find out more information on Peoples Electric Company at www.peoplesco.com.
6 seconds left on the shot clock out of the Hamline timeout as we welcome you back into St. Paul. It's the Pipers and the Wildcats. With 6:58 to go. Both of these teams chasing down St. Ben's and St. Mary's. They'll get it down low for Geisfeld. 3 seconds left to work with. Geisfeld dribbles in, backs in, and scores just as the shot clock expired. Nice possession for Hamline out of the timeout. Took their time, found Geisfeld, and she scores in the post. 52-46 the new score. Wildcats on top. And a foul's going to be called, I think, against Benjamin as she went backing into Geisfeld. That means Benjamin's done. Her 5th foul. So just with 2 points tonight, Benjamin fouls out with 6:33 to go in the game. So she racked up those fouls quickly. Fouls out of the game, 52-46 the score, 6:26 to go. Anderson Manning up top with it, now driving. Findell who draws the foul. That's one against Orth. Second foul against St. Kate's. Check that 3rd foul here in the 4th quarter. And the 2nd against the freshman Orth. So Findell to the free throw line. Freshman out of New Brighton. Knocks down her first shot. First point of the night for Findell. Alex Folke's used her a couple of different ways this season. Playing in her 22nd game, but she started 11 of them. Today came in off of the bench. Versatile player. And she goes 1 of 2 as Johnson comes up with a rebound. So we've got ourselves a 5-point game with 6:13 to go. This is Audra Clark and Donica Cambryce closing time for St. Kate's. Venegas looks down for Radford, who's got 4 fouls of her own. Good matchup. Anderson Manning, the youngster, Clark, the veteran. Around the screen from Radford. Lost the ball. Findell comes up with a turnover into the front court. Athletic Anderson Manning chases it down and lays it up and in. Timeout Wildcats. Pipers on the charge in St. Paul. It's 52-49. You're listening to Wildcat basketball. It's officially a nail-biter.
Wildcat Athletics is proudly supported by the Ryan Company, the Hickey family, U.S. Bank, the Loeffler Companies, Cone U.S., and the Opus Group. Wildcat supporters this season also include Shapco Printing, Sodexo, Terra General Contractors, the O'Neill Group, ProTech Designs, and Floors by Becker.
Welcome you back in. Elsewhere around the Wildcat athletic calendar, the swimmers are finishing their regular season at the St. Thomas Invite. That's Saturday. And multiple Wildcats posted their best finishes just 2 weeks shy of the MIAC championships. So good luck to St. Kate's swimming at the St. Thomas Invitational. 5:42 left here with the Wildcats on top by 3. 52-49, and St. Kate's has the basketball, but the Pipers in decided advantage as far as the momentum is concerned in this game. Pipers have really played well the last 2 minutes or so on the game clock. Points have been hard to come by in the 4th quarter. Clark layup off. Rebound tipped out towards Geisfeld, who comes up with it. Good rebounder, Geisfeld. Pipers outside. Ooh, Anderson Manning even a nice long thought about that three-pointer. Would have tied it. Instead, she'll dribble it off to her right, and she's played on a switch by Clark. Now Robinson. Pipers will run their offense. Robinson nearly threw it away. 8 seconds to go. Geisfeld drives, layup, easy doings as Geisfeld. No chance for Venegas to defend Geisfeld, and the Wildcats turn it over in the back court. Pipers down by 1, force yet another turnover. Ouch. 4:39 to go. Hamline can take the lead on this possession. My goodness, Robinson. Geisfeld, three-pointer, short. Wildcats hold on to the lead just barely. Venegas for Cambryce. She'll pull it up. Shot too strong. Geisfeld the rebound. Almost drew a foul, too. Wildcats with 3 fouls on the board with 4:16 to go. Bradford, Clark, Venegas, Johnson, and Cambryce defend with the Wildcats up by 1. Geisfeld hands it off for Robinson. Now Coleman, who came out with a great start in the 3rd quarter. Anderson Manning outside. Geisfeld 3. way offline. Rebound Venegas. Nice job by all 5'6" of Venegas. Boxing out into the front court. Cam Bryce scores and draws the foul. Big bucket for Cam Bryce. Cam Bryce with 18 goes to the free throw line. What a bucket for Cam Bryce. So a chance at a three-point play to make it back to a two-bucket game with 3:46 to go, and that's really the name of the game, keeping Hamline within, 2 possessions, 3 possessions. Anytime it's a one-possession game, anything can happen. Cam Bryce knocks it down. 19 now for Cam Bryce. 55-51 the score. Johnson to the bench, and Kurchek comes in. Little defense for offense substitution there. Stayer outside. Findell. Now Stayer again against Kurchek. Walks into a double team outside. Geisfeld breaking down Radford. Driving. Tough shot. No good. Rebound for Cam Bryce. Good defense by St. Kate's. Clark brings it into the front court. Spins. Got to the rack. Layup. No good though. Oh, so close for Clark. 3:08 to go. Pipers driving. It's going to be deflected out of bounds by Cam Bryce, as driving to the basket that time was Coleman. Johnson in, Kurchek out. So just a breather for Johnson. Benjamin is fouled out. Radford playing with 4 fouls. 3 fouls against St. Kate's in the quarter, and 2 against the Pipers. Pass comes in. Geisfeld under the basket. Easy bucket. And Alex Foki wants a timeout. He'll get it. It's a 2-point game. Geisfeld has 17 to lead all Piper scores. And let's break. 2:57 to go. Exciting finish coming up from St. Paul.
Other Wildcat sponsors include McGough Construction, the DLR Group, Push, Pedal, and Pull, the Newman Family, Sava Tree, Jimmy John's, and Munchie's Frozen Yogurt.
Good game. Looked like the Wildcats were going to run away with it at one point in that third quarter. They went up by 15 points, but Hamline fought back, and inside of 3 minutes to go, they're down just by 2. Both of these coaches in their second season at the helm for their respective schools. Alex Foki for the Pipers, Don Mulhern for St. Kate's. Don Mulhern a little longer in the coaching tooth than Foki, but both in their second year at their respective schools. .257 left. Pipers took a timeout to talk about defense, and I'm sure talk about a little press action. Johnson turned it over. Oh, she threw it right into the hands of Coleman. Pipers drew up the perfect defense to stop St. Kate's. Couldn't even get it out of the backcourt. Pipers can tie it with a 2, take a lead with a 3. Geisfeld double team, spins, rattled in and out, rebound Radford. Wildcats leading rebounder came up with a big one there. So the Pipers can't capitalize on that turnover. Down low, Cam Bryce shoots and scores. She got by Coleman. And Cam Bryce has a game-high 21 points, 57-53. Pipers playing against the Wildcats and the clock now at 2:15 to go. But still plenty of time for both teams. Robinson to her left. Outside Coleman. Robinson down low. Pipers are riding. Geisfeld out her shot blocked by Cam Bryce. The defense down the stretch is getting it done for St. Kate's as Clark slams on the brakes. And Don wants a timeout. Head coach Don Mulhern will take a timeout. His team looked a little discombobulated offensively there. He bails them out with the timeout. It'll be Wildcat ball with $1:53 to go in the game. 22 seconds on the shot clock with St. Kate's up by 4 when we come back.
As a family-owned and operated business since 1971, Goodmanson Construction continues to develop concrete relationships with their commercial and residential customers throughout the upper Midwest. Questions or concerns about concrete, asphalt, and the company's installation process, check out their website at goodmansonconstruction.com. Thank you, Goodmanson Construction.
Elsewhere around the Wildcat athletic calendar, as the basketball team leads 57-53. Worth noting the track and field team is back at it Friday night, February 8th at the St. Thomas Showcase. 57-53 the score. Wildcats have the ball, 22 seconds on their shot clock. Comes in for Radford. Took a look down low at Cambryce. Instead, Clark off of the window. Audra Clark with 18 points, 59-53 the new score. Still just 2 buckets separate these two teams. Minute 36 left. Driving with it. The shot short by Coleman. Rebound Cambryce. Minute 25 to go now, and Hamlin's probably got to start thinking about fouling here. If not on this possession, the next. Don Mulhern barking out his signals to his team. Venegas drives and draws the foul against Kaylee Stayer. So Stayer called for her 3rd foul. The 3rd foul against the Hamlin Pipers, down by 6. And still just 2 buckets separating the two teams. I suppose Hamlin with 30 seconds on the shot clock. This is probably their last possession where they can just straight up defend the Wildcats if that's the way they want to go with it. I know if I got it into the hands of somebody I thought could miss a free throw, I'd be fouling them. Venegas drives baseline off of the iron. Shot short, rebound Pipers. Hamlin's got the basketball going the other way with Robinson. And Johnson stole it away. If the Wildcats get this thing into the clubhouse, it's going to be defense that does it. And no choice now. The Pipers got to play the foul game. Anderson Manning called for her 2nd foul. And the 4th against the Pipers. They'll have to do it again with just the 47 seconds to go. Clark with it, going to her right, hands it off for Johnson. Now Radford with the left hand. Venegas, 26 seconds left in the game. Clark has it. Wildcats more than happy to take these 30 seconds off of the clock. Clark drives, Radford off of the elbow. Too strong, rebound Stayer, 16 seconds to go. Pipers down with 6, Cambryce the steal. Had it blocked by Manning, but now the Pipers will have no choice but to start playing the foul game. And a timeout taken on the floor. We'll take our final timeout as well with the Wildcats up 59-53 with 12 seconds to go as the Wildcats are trying to close this thing out on their home court.
A proud sponsor of Wildcat Athletics since all the way back in 1971, the Universal Athletic Team has been passionate about fueling the dreams of athletes, and they put all their know-how into doing just that. By servicing and selling athletic gear to local athletes, high schools, and colleges, Universal Athletic has dedicated its heart and soul to the support of sports, fitness, and health programs in schools and communities.
Welcome you back into St. Paul. What a last quarter, what a fourth quarter this has been. Right now, though, it's the Wildcats on the better end of it. 59-53 the score. Wildcats up by 6. The Pipers' next foul will put St. Kate's into the bonus, and right now they really don't have much choice but to go ahead and start playing that foul game with a dozen ticks left on the clock. And if the Wildcats can make some free throws, they're going to improve their record to 7-8. It's as simple as that. Hamlin can probably spare a second or two going for the steal, but that would be about it. Keep it tuned for our Wildcat post-game show. We'll be joined by a Wildcat player. And it'll be Radford to give it the inbound. Gives it a slap, gets it in for Clark. She's fouled immediately by Anderson Manning. So free throws coming up for Clark, and if you're St. Kate's, mission accomplished. You're getting the person you want to the free throw line in Audra Clark. Another great game for Clark. She goes to the free throw line with 18 points on the night. And 11 seconds left on the game clock. First shot no good for Clark. Boy, nothing's easy in the MIAC, is it? Her next one, though, is a big one. There's a big difference being up 6 and 7. Second shot for Clark. It was a big one, and she got it. Got the bounce. 19 points for Clark. And again, now 3 possessions separate the Pipers and the Wildcats. 60-53 the new score. We got a timeout on the floor, and really, if you're St. Kate's right now, the biggest thing you don't want to do is foul. Stop the clock, put Hamline at the free throw line, anything like that. When you're up 7 with 11 seconds to go, really not a lot of bad things that can happen. I mean, if they march down, use up 6-7 seconds and make a three-pointer, it's really not the end of the world as you're trying to get this win. Reminder, folks, St. Ben's won up in Concordia. That game had 2 lead changes in the last 5 seconds of overtime. So they took a tie into the extra frame and then traded leads in the last 5 seconds. But unfortunately for both of these teams, St. Ben's won. They got their 9th win. No word on St. Mary's and Bethel. We can check quickly the out-of-town scoreboard here. See how quick I can do that for you, because that game has huge implications as well for both of these teams. Well, out of town slightly. We'll check the Arden Hills scoreboard. The Royals won, so they beat St. Mary's. They clobbered them in the second half. Bethel's a really good finishing team, 86-68, the final score there. So, 2-game swing on the line for the winner of this one. St. Mary's stays put at 8 wins, and the winner of this will have 7. Very nice. Came in down 2 games in the win column, would leave down just 1. Pass comes in quickly. Donica, great defense. Poked it away, got it down low. Geistfeld, layup off of the window. Nothing hurt. Took 7 seconds. Hamline scores, draws to within 5 points. Pass comes in, and it'll send Clark on down to the free throw line. So Hamline gets the better of the last 7 seconds of game clock. The 1 free throw from Clark, the 2 from Geistfeld. But the Wildcats can trade tit for tat the next 4 seconds as Clark heads to the free throw line yet again, trying to close this one out. 20 points for Clark. Cambrai with 21, Clark with 20. Look up at that scoreboard, and those two have got more than 40 of these 61 points. Clark makes them both now with 21, so 42 of the 62 points coming from Cambrai and Clark. 2 seconds left in the ball game, and the Wildcats are going to win it. Let's see if they'll count that last bucket. They do, and it's a final. Anderson Manning chips in the 2-pointer, pads her stats with 8 points as the Wildcats win 62-57. We'll be right back with our Wildcat post-game show as the Wildcats win. Donica Cambrai will join us in just a moment.
Transporting Wildcat athletes is in the capable hands of Northfield Lines Incorporated, dedicated to ensuring that your travel experience is a positive one. Call to request a quote or to make a reservation at 888-670-8068 or visit their website at northfieldlines.com.
Well, the Wildcats stay very much in the playoff chase as they defeat Hamline and the Pipers in this one, a final score of 62-57. The Pipers see their season record through 22 games fall to 500. They're 11-11, now 6-9 in the MIAC. For the Wildcats, they improved to 10-12, 7-8 in the MIAC. Donica Cambrai joins us on our Wildcat postgame show. Donica, come on in here. I don't have too much microphone cable, but big win. That was a big win. Playoff implications. It wasn't always pretty. Hamline came at you in that second half, but talk about this one. It's a big one for you and your teammates. Pardon me.
I mean, we're just super excited that, that we're playing like a team, that we're still in this playoffs, run for the playoffs bid, and we're happy that we were able to keep it together and pull off a win.
Happy to get this one in the clubhouse, though. Take this thing in the locker room. You guys were up by 15. Hamline pulled to within, 3 points, 2 points, something like that. It's a gut check moment for you and your teammates, right? You mentioned sticking together as a team. You did just that.
Yeah, we're good at gut checks, though. It wakes us up. So we don't mind the pressure.
Talk about how Audra Clark is playing down the stretch. She's just got 3 games left after this in her career. Keeps putting up huge numbers. Huge points numbers, assist numbers, rebound numbers. You guys had 42 of the 62 points tonight.
I think she's just playing like there's no tomorrow, which she usually plays hard, and she's always going to give it her all. You wouldn't even think that she came back from a knee injury. She's such a great player and a good passer, so it's fun playing with her.
Talk about the defense down the stretch. I thought the difference in that fourth quarter was you guys played just enough defense. You made a big play down in the corner late in the game. Talk about the D.
We were just talking, always being aware if you're in help side. I don't know, just my teammates helping me. I didn't know I had to go over there till I heard someone talking, so.
We'll let you catch up with your teammates in the locker room. That's a big win. Careful on that cord behind you. You got 3 to go. Congrats on a nice win tonight against Hamline.
Thank you.
There she goes. That is Donica Cambris. Another big game with 21 points as the Wildcats win 62-57 and stay in the MIAC playoff hunt. All right, for our engineer Glenn Thompson, for Lindsay and Athletic Communications, I'm Matt Nelson signing off. One more home game. That's the season finale against McAllister. The next 2 on the road. Pardon me, it's that time of year. And we'll talk again soon. Enjoy the rest of your week. And go Cats!